Hello, viewers. We are back after solving the technical glitch. As we were discussing that VLSI engineers must prepare for um, solving problems. They must have that skill on the go. And we faced a problem, we solved, and we are
Live
back.
demonstration.
So
It's a
we
live
are proving our
demonstration.
resilient. We are resilient people.
Yeah, just it recalls one funny experience because in our maybe first chip shuttle when it is a raining heavily and that is a rainy season. Okay, and there is a last date to submit our chips. Okay, and that deadline is very hard, so it has already been delayed, and chipping told that it's not possible to delay for any further. So all of the DRC, LBS, etc. cleans, and just in the process of maybe within a few minutes times we'll click the button to send the chip. At that time there's a heavy rainings and thunderstorms outside, and suddenly the electricity power went away in the CS building. And there was in the department of CS buildings there was no hotline connection. So the power connections cut means the net facilities, the electricity,
Completely down.
everything went away. Okay, and then I tried to find out what is the problem is, but fortunately enough, I see in the second floors and third floor the power is there. So one phase went away. So and at that times there is a immediately calling, and it is almost 6 p.m. So the university or staffs who look after these electricities, they already left for their homes. Then it's a very traumatic situation at times, but we have to keep our patience and very head very cool, and we shouldn't lose our nerves at that time. So immediately somehow I called some private electricians and gave him 1,000 rupees immediately and told him to whatever you need to purchase or procure, do it immediately, and within half an hour the electricity is to be restored, because that is not a CSC fault, because the fault in that particular floor. So either the MCB has to be changed or whatever you have to do it. I immediately gave him 1,000 rupees and you take it wherever possible. You buy and do things for me within half an hour, because I have to submit by 7 p.m. And then that Ram Babu, he took a lot of pains, and he somehow managed to give me a temporary solutions, because it was a permanent we couldn't do, for otherwise the engineering sections has to do it. But for a few hours times the electricity was restored and the internet connections, and finally we could make the submissions. So these types of the problems will always go on in actual product design submissions, and we have to keep our nerves very cool. We have to be problem solvers. At the same times, we need several backups also. So whatever instruments, they may go anyway. So you have to, sometimes the design files gets corrupted. So proper backing up, you have to anticipate many problems that may actually come in during your entire product designs process. So that actually comes from experience also, that anticipation of trivial problems. And also we should not wait for the final deadline to meet, or the final moment to submit. So these are some learnings which we gain while we doing these types of projects, live projects. And students, since they are also parts and parcels of this entire process, so they also learn. So coming back to the points, what we are designing is that in this C2S phase we find very streamlined actions, and we are really enjoying the sessions, because we the students, they now can see their own products. So that is a very moments of happy. They're very, I can see the faces of the students and scholars when they actually see that what they have designed, now they are getting some tangible outputs. They can show to their parents, they can show to their family members that this particular IC chips has been designed by myself. and fabricated elsewhere, but that too within India. But whatever I can, if I can see my own, it's like seeing the first face of my baby. Okay, so all these products, they are the children of the designers. So looking into those chips, and especially if it works, and getting first test results, that something, some output is coming out, that is a very very happy and joyous moment for all the students and the designers, because ultimately they are not very experienced, they are not industry made designers, they categorically, I like to classify them as they are student engineers, student
Hmm.
designers. So
Hmm.
the production of student VLSI designers has been started in a continuous way. It's like a conveyor belt actually. Now we have been able to establish. So starting from the inception of admission of the students in the MTech VLSI designs curriculums, going through first semesters and second semester courses, after within the middle of the second semesters, they do their mini projects, and within through mini projects they actually enter into these student VLSI designer procedures. So once they rise up in this conveyor belt, and the C2S with this facility chip-ins, they has established a very well planned, well shuttled the proceedings. Everything is very streamlined. So the students, they are feeling very happy with being part of this Indian semiconductors missions, because ultimately these student engineers, they contribute to the nationwide, and they contribute to the mission that government of India has proposed to be Atmanirbhar in semiconductors industries. And the Calcutta University is also very contributing, because and you know that the C2S 0001, that is the first chip in India under these Indian semiconductor missions, that came out from Calcutta Universities, from our
Yes.
radio physics electronics department. So a lot of learnings, and the students, they are now seeing their roadmap in front of them, so that if they do a particular MTech programs, then where they may be placed. And I wish to share some success stories, because many of our the VLSI designers who have already taped out their chips, they get placement in very good core electronic sectors. For example, one of our early students, Shoham Banerjee, who taped out the C2S 0001 chips. He has been placed in HCL Technologies as principal analog design engineers. Then
Yeah.
one of my PhD students, Quail, she has also done her chip designing. She got placement opportunities as principal analog engineers at Global Foundries, Kolkata
Hmm.
office. So that is the success stories from our things, where the first semester, second semester students, they are now seeing that, oh, if I contribute in this process, if I do works in this very hard working fashions, then I will also be placed one day in good companies. So that is the ultimate benefit, that is the ultimate objective of any universities. And with these C2S showcasings or C2S institutions, you are telling about the industry academia collaborations. So that has been also established, because HCL Technologies, they are giving lectures to our students as a voluntary process. In the evenings, they used to give offers. Then we have also some other success stories from our departments, Keysight Technologies. Keysight Technology is now a leading industries in India in quantum chip communications, quantum chips. So the students of our radio physics departments, she is working with along with Keysight Technologies, and is very enthusiastically they are contributing some quantum chip developments. So at the one hand, we have the semiconductors IC designings, the quantum chips developments. We have also the FPGA SoC as part of this C2S, because C2S is ultimately not targeted for only a chip designs. It is an ecosystem. It is an umbrella through which we can extend this umbrella to various departments, to other faculties. Likewise, the electronic science department, the other faculty members of Calcutta universities, the School of Information Technology, the applied physics departments, who they are also now contributing to their chip designings or FPGA designings or semiconductor circuit design. So earlier they didn't thought of thought of realizing their algorithms or realizing their researches into practice. So that is why a new type of concepts is now being developed. It's translational research, where any research ideas they has to be ultimately go to a product, and that products, the product may not be a very commercial products, maybe from academia we cannot do, but at least a laboratory prototype, at least we can see the products. Then our future planning is to have certain startups, so to tie up with some startup companies, so that they being certain industry partners, they can do commercializations of our works, because as universities we don't look out for exact commercializations, because that is not
Exactly.
business. So we are
That's
in a,
not the scope
yeah,
of university basically. I mean, university is for skill development and basic. Like in last episode, Mr. Bishwadip Chatterjee has come and he specifically mentioned that we don't need that level of industry readiness from university, because then
correct,
university will become a training center. We want their base should be strong, fundamental must be very strong. So that
exactly.
is tip to startup is successfully doing that along with some readiness also, yes. So uh,
And what I like to mention that whatever this Vishwadip Chatterjee, he himself took classes for our students. Okay,
oh,
so
great.
as part of he's very kind enough to give a series of lectures to our students in online evening courses. And I like to also mention that now this facility is not being located to our departments, as I told, already spread out. And we now want to offer these MTech programs to working professionals also, because
Wow.
many working professionals who have passed out their BTech long back ago, but if they now want to relocate or reposition themselves in semiconductors, or want to enter into academia once again, so that's why we have also opened an evening program of our MTech VLSI designs, that is solely for the working professionals, and they can do this MTech VLSI in evening within a hybrid mode. So some of the lectures will be online, the laboratories will be held offline, some classes will also be held offline, but they can complete their master's degrees within 2 years time, the same as the regular students, but in evening sessions will go on. So I believe that these working professionals, if they have a very knack and very attitudes towards contributions to Indian missions, they are also welcome to the MTech VLSI design program of radio physics electronics department.
Shomoda, we have got a very nice comment from a viewer. I'm just showing it. As a third year student, it makes me very happy to find out that I only need to work on my basics for a good VLSI career. Great.
Yeah,
At
so
least
that's
our,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. So I just want to again reiterate these things, that there's something, some message I want to convey, that I
Sure.
find that many of the students, especially the undergraduate students, they now roam about to do internships in somewhere outside the outside the universities, in some small companies or etc, but they don't have that clear perceptions what they want to do, why they are going for that internships, because
Hmm.
and in this process they're simply wasting their time. So the current scenario in which there are government of India is giving a lot of emphasis on manufacturing, and this manufacturing industries is extensively knowledge based. And this particular knowledge you can get only through your classroom teachings, your laboratory courses, rather than going around going doing for internships at some petty organizations. I will like to convey to the students that you give more time to your laboratories, you do research projects, you take part in sponsored research projects. Many projects in many organizations are going on under efficient faculties and competent faculties. So spend times with your faculties at your in-house, do work with the various laboratory instruments, because these particular aspects of handling with electronic instruments, hardware instruments, this practice is not currently there. It was earlier there, maybe 10 to 15 years ago. So we do a lot of electronics hardware experiments. We like to play with electronic circuits, but nowadays this situations is completely different. So we are afraid of electronics hardwares. But now with these semiconductors fabrication, semiconductor characterization units, OSAT units, testing and characterization units are now coming in India. So there
Hmm.
is a requirement, a lot of requirement for electronics hardware students who are capable of doing works, or who are capable of handling electronics instruments like CRO, like spectrum analyzers, like vector network analyzers, noise meters, even storage oscilloscopes, even doing PCB designs. So PCB designs is a very important piece, because as we are looking for embedded systems and systems on chips, so we all require certain PCB boards. Okay, so PCB designing is another important things which, and it doesn't requires a lot of infrastructural setups. So fortunately, the MTech VLSI design program of Calcutta University, we are now incubating a PCB design house. So we have purchased certain instruments, so we can do our PCBs at our own institutions, on-site usage of PCB, designing of PCB, fabrication of PCB. So in PCB sectors, we also require electronics students who have very good knowledge using electronics instruments. And the diploma students, especially the ITI students, they now have will also have a very good opportunities in electronics
Hmm. Hmm.
industries, because this ultimately chip design is an ecosystems. It starts with
Yes.
specifications, it requires knowledge of electronic design automations, it requires knowledge of circuit designs, it requires knowledge of digital electronics, and not only that, it requires the knowledge of handling electronics instruments, testing, characterizations, PCB designing. So it requires the fundamental knowledge of electronics, which the students can gather only if they spend enough times in their classrooms and in their laboratories. So please don't roam away to do internships at some petty organizations. I am not against doing internships. What I want to emphasize, that do with full consciousness. That means what you
Hmm.
want to do, what you want to achieve, have a very clear perceptions, then you do your own work. So don't hear about what the seniors are saying, or don't hear about what your parents are telling. Sometimes with the parents, they are biased by your social perceptions. Okay,
Yes.
so we find that okay, our students, are my kids has been placed in TCS or CTS, etc. So that is their place for their after passing out engineering graduates. So no, don't go do these things. Do with ultimate clear conceptions, have a clear perceptions. Go for LinkedIn search, because your TV, that's Tech Simplified TV, that is playing a very tremendous, very good roles, because you're placing
Thank you.
so many opportunities and placing so many videos, tutorials, etc. The job opportunities, what are the skill sets that are required. So follow these things, and then you get an idea what you want to do, and then you try to go for research laboratories or any other institutions to do your internship programs. There's a now a tremendous opportunities in jobs in
Yes.
electronic sectors.
Yes.
At the same times, I also say that there are so many unemployability issues. You will understand this particular examples is like a PN junctions. Like the conduction band is full of students. Okay, and in the valence bands there are so many holes. That means there are many opportunities to for the candidates to take in the jobs, but this particular band gap, it is day by day it is widening. So the students are thinking that we don't have enough jobs, whereas the job seekers, they are finding we are not getting enough competent skilled manpowers. So
Exactly, exactly.
that's the problems where we are facing, and this can only be solved if you spend more time in your laboratories, do good research projects, do good electronics projects under the supervisions of faculty members within your institutions. You don't need to go anywhere. You don't
Hmm.
know, you need not to roam anywhere. So you spend more time in your laboratories under the supervisions of the faculties who are present yourselves. And the IC Design Laboratory of Radiophysics Department is open for collaborations with any institutions, any organizations. So all the students, if you are really have the motivation to contribute to semiconductors or contribute to electronics skill, we are open to come to our laboratories and work with our team.
Okay. Okay, so students, I hope you are following his opinion and his advice, because there is a scope. Because when government is so proactive and taking proactive decisions, and this kind of chip to startup kind of projects are running in the institutes, then government is keen. Basically, if government has the power, if they are keen, they will make it possible. And what you
Yes,
can do, you can study well, you can make your fundamental strong, as Bishwadip Chatterjee also mentioned. And he is also engaged, because he is seeing this, he is taking evening classes, just I came to know. So he has perception about your generation. So what you need, you people need, just follow them, listen to them. We have chances, many company will open, maybe Indian company, many big companies will come, they will expand in other cities, so you guys will have lot of chance. Take it, take the chance, you can do it. I have a question, that when students are entering the project and leaving the project, not only the skill development, in their mentality, the way they are looking at it, it's changing. Problem solving,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Yes.
It's a changings because so long as they are in first semesters or second semesters as a students, their attitudes was not towards deliverables, because in industries and in projects you need to be accountable, you need to
Yes.
deliver whatever you do, you need to deliver your results. That results may not be right at the first pass. Okay, it may give certain errors, but you have to complete your work within a stipulated times. So
Yes.
somebody else will verify that if there are glitches in your results or in your outputs. So that is not the thing. So we will verify, but you have to complete your task within a scheduled time. So as far as this, the students when they enter, that type of attitudes was not theirs. But gradually it comes into their minds. So long as they, sometimes we scold them, sometimes we make them counselings that you have to do at these times, you have to follow these deadlines, you have to follow this particular routine. These types of accountability and delivering any output, that type of things that comes in to the students attitudes whenever they go for any internships or these types of live research projects.
Okay. So since you are handling students, so when they enter, they might have many of, because after two, three batch of, or two, three round of these projects and tape out, because students, they discuss with their seniors. They might get to know, but when the first two, three batches they are going, the kind of misconception that, like, I mean, always like tool is equivalent to skill. Knowing tool is, that is the skill, or RTL is the, that is the chip design. Verilog is EDA. The kind of misconception I have seen when I have entered, even I had some misconception. Do you see any kind of misconception when students are getting all these softwares? They are getting the exposure to these chip designing. Have you found any kind of misconception?
Yes, yes, there are so many misconceptions. Definitely, there, especially when they take admissions in from their undergraduate to the postgraduate programs. So, what I used to do, I often after their class hours, scheduled class hours, I often used to sit with them, sir, and try to give them this roadmap and try to make these small issues for which there are misconceptions are there, to remove those misconceptions, to make themselves aware of the entire design cycles. Often I clearly explain them that what is the design cycles, what are the various steps involved in complete VLSI designs. So it is not a small process, it is a very elaborate process, and
Hmm.
which tools are used in for what purpose, and what
Yes.
levels of abstractions you need to do, and what kinds of verifications you need to do at each and every individual steps. So a lot of misconceptions that is quite common, and we don't expect that an undergraduate students or a third fourth semester students they will come with these without these misconceptions. So we welcome, only we welcomes their eagerness to learn. So it is the responsibility of us to remove these misconceptions. So we are, besides these students, to remove their misconceptions, so to give the right things, to show them the path, to show them their futures. But what we expect, that the students, they should have the motivations, and they should have the patience, and they should have at least the zeal to contribute to our country.
Yes. Yes, that zeal is required. After 10 years, the way we are going forward, after 10 years, the scenario will be completely changed. By that time, we will have multiple, more tech cities in India. As much I can understand, I'm a very small person, but still, the kind of news every day are coming, or every week we are getting kind of news. So, state government, many state government, they are announcing their semiconductor policy. So everyone is understanding there is a scope for this country. This, we are highly populated, and we can use our population, educated population, in this regard. So that's
Very good.
understanding when policymakers have, we can hope that there are good things will come. So for coming next chip to startup projects, obviously there will be more phases of C2S project. What is your planning? How you are thinking? I mean, how to stepping up?
So already we are expanding our design perspectives. So initially we started with the analog designs, ASIC designs, but now slowly we are going into the digital ASIC designs also,
Okay.
and to integrate and the integrate. So the our last shuttles, which will submit by tomorrow or Monday, that is a complete digital ASIC chips. So
Oh,
the integrations of analog and digital ASIC chips to go for a complete systems on chips. That is our target. And the next expansions, what we started working out, is to have a good test and characterization facilities, because ultimately when the chips, after their fabrications, they are returned back to us. So we need proper characterizations of the chips, what are the voltage levels that are expected, and what we are getting out, what are the yield of the circuits. So until and unless we have a very good hardware instruments facilities, it is difficult for accurate characterizations of the experimental results. So
I
our
mean,
next,
post silicon characterization.
like post silicon characterization. So that
Mhm.
is our next scope of action. So if we, in the next phase, if there is any call for proposals, then I will definitely look out to set up a test and characterization unit in our department.
Great, growth. So you are taking it to the next level. Now tell us about those two chips. you have designed your in lab, which were presented to our honorable Prime Minister by Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, and you were on the stage.
Yeah.
First, tell me how. What was your feeling that moment? PM in
Yeah.
front of you, all the dignitaries in front of you. What was the feeling?
That is a good feeling, but that not super excited. That was not there, but it's good that
You were
something
so
uh,
controlled.
something we could have achieved, that we have contributed to what Prime Ministers has thought about, and what Honorable Prime Ministers and Ministry of ITs has conceived, and the entire MeitY teams has conceived of
Mhm.
Atmanirbharata in semiconductor chip designs.
Yes,
And
very
to recall that
necessary.
Honorable Prime Minister has announced in his 15th August Independence Day speech at Lal Kela that very recently India will produce its own chips. So at that time, I was not sure about whether what kind of chips they will actually come out. So I didn't thought of with that seriousness. But after a few days, when I got a call from Ministry of Electronics office, that immediately you need to come to Kolkata, Delhi from Kolkata, and that too within a short notice of 1 day time. So, but anyway, it is our responsibilities to be present because ultimately the government and we as a countrymen, we are contributing to the development of our country. So that national feelings has to be very much within our blood to be to
Yes,
do certain good feelings. So what we are doing, it is doing for our country. So I take that opportunities to be present in the semicons, and it's good things that our chips. When I find that the 0001, C2S 006 two chips, they have been presented to our honorable Prime Ministers and honorable Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Sri Ashwini Vaishnav, Nishit Gupta and Hemlata Gupta. They are also very instrumental persons. I must express my
yes,
gratitudes and acknowledgements to Nishit Gupta ji to give us these opportunities and to present our chiefs to the honorable ministers. But one things I must emphasize that all the students, all the faculty members, we should have a nation building perceptions in our mind. We should have an
yes,
attitude that whatever we are doing, we are offering to our country.
yeah,
It is
very
service to the country and to the humanities. Whatever we are doing, we are ultimately doing for the betterment of humanity, betterment of mankind, and to the development of our country. We all believe that if we can achieve work together unitedly as a team of scholars, faculties, you are also contributing in doing a tremendous jobs in spreading out these informations, in giving so many tutorials. So collectively, we are all working for our country.
yeah. Yes, obviously we have to do because it's our country and our future. So,
Exactly.
and tell us about those two chips. What actually it's functioning? The chips which were designed in radio physics and electronics department. What is its functioning? What does it do?
So the chips that have already been taped out and we are getting this, those are analog ASIC chips. So they are basically analog front-end circuits. Analog front-end IC is, they are quite generic in nature, especially for low frequency signal processing. For maybe for biomedical signal processing, or maybe signals extracted from sensors, maybe chemical sensors or biomedical sensors or optical sensors. So whatever the sensors, we take physical signals. You know that physical signals are all analog in natures, and these sensors, they take signals from physical sources, and these signals then they has to be certain processing of these signals. So maybe the amplification of the signals, because these natural signals, they are often very weak in magnitudes and are very little used to electronic
Mhm.
circuits, even unless you do proper amplifications and proper filtrations of unwanted noises. So analog amplifications, programmable gain amplifications, then filterings, then comparisons with a certain voltage levels, then voltage reference generator, current reference generators. So all the sub parts that are required for any analog front-end circuits that have been fabricated. However, the special applications in which we have in our mind, so I am told about the generic applications, but if we have a very specific applications in which
Hmm.
our project is going on, it is for an HVAC system. So the determination of the health conditions of the filters is present in an AC machine. You know that in our AC machines we have a filter, and these filters often they gets clogged out after, and we require periodic manual servicing of this filter. So
Hmm.
get proper coolings. But this particular circuits, what we are looking out, that it will be an automatic circuits which will test the condition of the filter, and this circuit will be placed within a AC service unit, indoor units, and it will check the cloggedness of the filters, and it will set an alarm that your filter needs servicing. So sometimes what it happens that if many people, only a few, they do regular cleaning of the
Yes,
filter
that's
within
true.
an AC. Maybe yearly they do, but we know that for a good indoor air quality, we require periodic servicing of the filters, because if they clogged out, so the indoor air quality doesn't remains healthy. So so uh, till now we have this manual process. So but what we are targeting is that we will have a sensor, certain humidity sensors, moisture sensors, and differential pressure sensor. So these sensors will take signals from the environment, and they will machine learning unit we have already developed, and we are doing the ASIC of this machine learning units, and it will take a decisions that whether your filter needs immediate servicings or not. So what is the health condition of these filters? So this entire
Okay.
system will now come into an IC chips, and we are expected. We have already got some success also. We are testing. We have developed emulated models in our laboratory of the HVAC systems, the how the cool air flows. We have developed on filters some laboratory versions, and we are in the process of testing the chips in a real time condition.
Okay. So yes, these are real time based data analysis and I mean project or the product development which is related to our life, very closely related to our lives, and the way we are going. Almost every building has and AC and usage of especially central AC cooling systems are there, like in mall, in private hospitals. There, so that is very important because so
That's
many
the point.
people are there.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's really a very good cool project, really a cool project. So uh, when you are working, I would now talk about challenges. Like challenges means what I want to say that uh, I mean access of license, as you said, it's got completely streamlined by chip in center. They take care of all the things and you work through them, that raising tickets and all, as much I know.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
there are some other like there are some roadblocks still. I mean, in a system we can analysis, if we analysis there are, because it's a practical system. Tool access is one thing. Infrastructure build up, do you get that enough kind of that is happening in quite good progress? I mean, like the way you want to build up the infrastructure, are you getting enough fund and response from METI and other responsible authority? And one
Responsible
more thing,
authority is
training,
way.
training and training bandwidth, that is also required, and NDA constraint for all these tools. NDAs are there for tools. So if you are facing any kind of challenge regarding all these things, just tell us.
Yes, so there are quite good number of aspects of this particular question. So infrastructural setups, it has two components. One component is the usage of EDA tools, and another
Hmm.
component is the servers and the workstations, and
Hmm.
the power supplies, backups, UPS, etc. So the in SMDP phase, we got five workstations, five very good workstations from METI. But in C2S phase, we didn't get any extra workstations because the earlier workstations were fine enough and they are doing good work here also. But these five workstations, they are not of sufficient. So here I acknowledge Calcutta universities because they have given us some more workstations, and often we can upgrade our older versions to by newer components, by installing newer components. So in this context, the Calcutta University has extended all its support. The radio physics department has already extended its support to have the required infrastructures in terms of computers, workstations, and power supplies. But we need to have certain fund crisis being a state universities. Not that much type of very expanded facilities, but see, these problems will always be there. So we have to go through these problems. So as and when required, we try to resolve by upgradations or by replacements, etc. Those issues we try to manage judiciously, taking funds from various sources, not only from MEITI, but from TECI or from UPE programs of university, or from the lump grant of Calcutta universities, or from DST. So many funding agencies we always need to explore to get infrastructural setups. So that is a continuous process. You cannot expect that you will be given very good infrastructures and then you will start working. So you will start from very little resource and it will evolve as and when it is required and as and when it comes into your. But the proper installation and the usage of this infrastructure, that is also very important to keep all the machines and instruments in running conditions. That is also important, and our students, they do a tremendous good jobs in making all these things functional. That is one aspect about the infrastructure. As far as this training is considered, the training part is fantastic these times. In CTS, the training is excellent because so many online workshops are regularly held by the CHIPINs and instruction enhancement programs, IEPs. Sometimes we don't find time to attend these workshops. Okay, and Chipin is doing an excellent things in giving training, proper training about the EDA tools, etc. But thanks to this online workshops, so now everything is online. These recordings are available in Chipin as a cloud, where they put all their recorded lectures, trainings, and videos. So the students can download them, can go through the lectures that have already been done, maybe months ago or a couple of months or in the last years, that training may have been done, but now they can get access to those resources from their Chipin cloud. And and the so many sites are there like Udemy or any other course materials. Your Tech Simplified us is also, as I told you, is doing a fantastic jobs in putting that good amount of tutorials, because those are very useful and very skill oriented. So they are targeted towards not a general academic curriculum based, but they are very skill oriented. So what the students they will face, sometimes the designers will face while doing any work, especially with the EDA tools or any analysis, or maybe timing analysis or power analysis, etc. So those tutorials and videos, they are also very good. So as far as this training is concerned, we are not facing any problems because these are quite good, excellent facilities are there. But still, you cannot ignore whatever the tutorials you get, or whatever the training you get, you actually need to learn by your own hand. So until and
Yes.
unless you particularly face a problems, you will not be able to solve it. Some solutions has to come from your mind itself. So
Hmm.
the discussions, the live discussions with supervisors and students only, they will find out solutions to those problems. So interactions, very cordial discussions between the project investigators and the project leaders along with their design teams is very essential. So this is the training aspects. What else aspects you're asking for apart from infrastructure
Like
support?
NDA constraint for tools
NDA.
and all.
NDA constants is not there.
Okay.
NDA with tools that are done handled by Chipin itself. So we
Okay.
haven't faced any problems with the usage of any tools. And this SCL 180 nanometer technology node NDA that is also handled by Chipin. And I what I believe that the some other institutes if they wish to go for practice or TSMC process, so they have to do their NDA, but a lot of support is coming from Chipin in this particular phase. So that's a very good process which Government of India has established through this CDAC Bangalore, which is hosting this chip.
Okay. Actually, we had news about launch of chip 2 startup. Then discussions were there, and saw that chips in presented during Semicon 2025. What actually the scenario behind the scene, what is happening, that was not very clear. Those who are not really in direct contact of any such department where work is going on, it's not really known to many of us. So that's why we thought that there must be, I mean, that is also a part of the whole ecosystem, right? Skill development and basic development. So that must be should be in limelight. To people must know what is happening behind. And
Yes,
now my final question, your suggestion. I mean, because you are a teacher, basically you are a teacher, a researcher and teacher, and now handling so many things and logistics. So basically I have seen you are going to classes and directly interacting whole day, you are with the young minds and students. So whatever suggestion you will give, that is applicable to all the students. So please, some suggestions for young minds, encourage them, tell them that there are good days
yes.
and they have enough
So,
space.
so first and foremost, that all students should read Swami Vivekananda, because that is the biggest things. You have all the capacity, you have all the potentiality to do good things, but these are being covered up by your ignorance. And we as teachers, our main task is to remove this ignorance. So I just try to make them aware of their potentialities, of their competitiveness that already they have possessed, they possess themselves. So sometimes what we find is they become shaky. They can do good things, but they're afraid of telling to their teachers, or they are afraid of coming to us. So our role is just to remove their ignorance by maybe small sentences, maybe small patting in their backs or chatting with them, helps them to gain their confidence, because they have everything within themselves. We are nowhere to make them understand. They know themselves. Okay, they have their competencies. I just show them their how to do it, or how to expand your capacity gently, so that you expand slightly on a daily basis. You try to expand yourself, and we'll see that you have done a great jobs which you haven't thought of maybe a 6 months ago. For examples, this particular I just shared this story when these in the last 6 months or the 6 months ago, we haven't thought of taping out digital asset design. So
Yeah.
a few students, they have their minds that we are doing FPGA, but we cannot do ASIC designs in digitals because we don't have that much expertise. So I
Like
just
whole
okay,
back end, you have
right,
completed the whole back end also.
right, for digital ASICs, from starting from RTL descriptions. We worked out in FPGA, but we never went out for the physical designings from RTL to actual GDS2. So one day
Hmm.
we thought of, like, why shall we not being able to do? What is something there that we'll not be able to solve out? So let's try to make it solve out. Okay. And you'll see, then I contacted one of my colleagues at NIT Rourkela. They are doing a 5 days workshop. So I sent these two students to these workshops, and they then meet the faculties there who have already done their asset designs in digitals. So attend these 5 days workshops, because and you met with the concerned faculty members at NIT Rourkela. Incidentally, they are my junior colleagues at during my PhD career. So
Okay.
and, and they attended that workshops, and after coming out these workshops, they gained that confidence that
Yes,
now
yes, you can do it.
will be able to do certain things. Okay, so I saw that their eyes are now sparkling out. So I then get that, I also got that confidence that okay, so they have been somehow very motivated. Then when this next shuttle of the fifth shuttle, that call for proposals is coming out, then we thought that let us try. Okay, so if we fail, so we'll fail. Nothing will happen, because we will not be
Yes.
able to. But let's try. Why don't
Yes.
we try ourselves? And the hardest constraints was that time, so because that the announcement was done maybe 15 days before our puja vacations. Okay, so I told, see, if you spend this vacation, you have a lot of your early times, you spend your vacations in home and going to puja pandals, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
let's now, for this particular times, for this 2025, let us make an oath that we'll not go to puja pandals. Our laboratories will be our puja pandal. Okay.
Yeah.
And what we do, what we are do means design activities. So that is our puja, and that is our offering to our God. God is here, our country. Our country is God. Okay, and what we are designing, that is basically an offering to the God, which is country. So let's do it. So we may fail, but that failure will give us the path to our achievement, or path to our success. We may miss the shuttle, we may miss the deadline. That doesn't matter. But we'll gain certain things. We'll not lose. Definitely, we'll gain. And I'm very fortunate that these students, they understands what I want to actually mean, or what I want to convey, and we'll be happy that they spend the entire puja vacations in the laboratories. They only
Yeah.
maybe 3 to 4 days times they have taken leave, but just after Vijay Dashamis, they came to labs, and the entire, even in the the Lakshmi Pujas, they didn't take leaves, and they worked out day and night in the ICT science laboratories, and ultimately so they have achieved it. They have
Yeah.
made the designs ready for taping out. So
Wow.
we have to be courageous, and we have to take decisions. We have to explore new things, because ultimately we may be failure, but these failures will actually give you the path, will show you the road to achieve in the next chapters. But if you gain, that's okay. But if you fail, that is also okay. But the learning is very important.
Yes. That is also one teaching of Swami Vivekananda.
Exactly.
If you get successful, you will be the icon, and if you fail, you can guide others. Yes. That is also another.
That is what you have to implement in your daily life.
Yes. Another question came from that very student that I'm showing. Just give this answer and we will wrap up for today. I would love to know that as a fresher, do I need to focus on personal VLSI based project as well?
Yes, personal VLSI based projects is very good, but don't ignore your what the curriculums, whatever is being done in your practical classes. So after do your practical classes very decently, following all the guidelines given by your instructors, make good laboratory copies, because that knowledge will help you in your projects. Because in the laboratories, how to do an experiment, what is the objective, what are the various procedures, how to follow the procedures, what to do, what not to do, how to take experimental data, how to put those in graphs, how to observe from graphs, how to do calculations based on graphs, do certain error calculations. These are some things which you will gain from your laboratory classes. So do your laboratory classes very honestly without wasting any times. The ultimate benefit and the experience that you will gain from your practical classes will definitely help you to do good projects. Personal VLSI projects is always good, but even if you don't do it but do your curriculum practical classes very well, that will also give you enough competence and enough background and knowledge to undertake any jobs in semiconductor industry.
Okay, that's a great advice, actually. Hands on practical advice, because he is handling students every day for so many years. And now he is instructor, chief instructor of this Chip2 startup
It's because
project.
I used to take the circuit theory labs, analog circuit labs
Yes,
by
yes,
our undergraduate students, and there I emphasize that if you do your practical classes very neatly, following
yes.
whatever the guidelines will do, this will give you the enough competency, will gain
Hmm,
confidence from their selves.
okay. So we had an amazing episode. Had some glitches, and we solved it and get back to the track. And like a persistent engineer, we succeed to go live and completing this second session also. Thank you, Shomoda, for your presence, because you are so busy.
Thank
So many busy, so many work you have. You are handling so many students. I mean, students and all of them. I mean, as much I went to your lab, energetic minds are there. So many questions. You are bombarded with questions. So many every day. Keeping cool
that's
and coming to a talk show.
that's a duty.
Yeah. So no, from our end, it's a tough job, very tough job. So thank you very much for coming to our show and giving us so this view which we cannot see from outside, what is happening, how students skill development is going on, and what is chip to startup, how it's helping out. So thank you for sharing all the informations and your advice. I hope many students get benefited by this. So viewers, we are at the end of our session today. Thank you for staying up to this time and joining for two sessions on a day. Thank you very much and bye for today. Namaskar.
Thank you.